Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, so you're seated on a chair. The floor doesn't look like a typical Hong Kong floor. It might be in Hong Kong, but it doesn't look like a typical Hong Kong flooring.
Mhm.
And it's you sitting on a chair. You've got a little tag on your dress that I'm assuming has your name. You're mid talking to somebody else. You're looking off camera.
Oh, right.
Your hands are kind of open up,
Yeah.
and you are expressing something to a listener or to a room. There's your purse is just behind you. You're seated on a very kind of plain sort of chair. Behind you is just a blank wall. What are you talking about? And what's going on?
So that was a first workshop that I called it the Loving Her event for women.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
happened a few months ago. Wait, hold up. When was this? Last
No
year.
mask.
Yeah, well, we took it off. So this was
Mm.
last year, late last year. I'm not sure. Probably November, maybe. A
Mm-hmm.
lot happened between October and November. So it was a panel discussion. So I not only did I put this workshop together, and there was a room full of people in front of me, and we had a panel of 3 other speakers, all talking about things that resonate with them, all about giving us the power to love ourselves. Because, like I said, only when you love you and truly thrive can you give to others, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's always been kind of the center point of everything that I do. So this Loving Her event was really that. So at this point in this photo, I was just sharing my story because
Mm.
the moderator asked me like what got me to where I'm at today type of thing.
Mm.
So I was then holding my memoir and talking about my journey and just how far I've come, and now I want to give back. And so Loving Her is me saying to you, I love me and therefore I love you. And so here
Mm-hmm.
I want to share, my journey and all of it in the hopes that it inspires you to do something, right? To look back and think about where you're at and how much are you living your life for you, but also for people around you, right?
Yeah. One of the things I love to do when I'm in this process of revisiting or visiting people's images is saying, okay, so when you see or think of that photo, there's a
Mm-hmm.
kind of a story around it that's attached to the memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain anchors, but there's certain things that are in your head that you could still tap into
Yeah.
and bring forward, right? And somehow that connects across all the 4 photos that you've provided. And that is okay. So the question that I'll get to is, what detail from either that day or that room or that talk or what was going on in your life at the time, it is outside of the story that you have in your head, like that you kind of have to think about a second and pull out a connection and say, oh, you know what, this other thing was happening that was interesting. So what else can you remember from around then that might bring up some new interesting thoughts?
I remember one of the panelists talking about sanitary pads because she is a really young girl, early 20s in university. And she was sharing her story about how she had so much pain and really bad reaction from sanitary pads. And
Mm-hmm.
so she took it upon herself with the help of her father. She created, if I remember correctly, sanitary pads that are made out of fabric. So they're
Okay.
washable. But as she was sharing her story, it really it stuck with me because it was like, here's this other young brown girl who is shaping lives, changing how we understand. Because for me, it's not just about the sanitary pad, but it's also
Mm.
about understanding our bodies.
Yep.
Because if you look at a sanitary pad, it's actually got a whole lot of toxins
Mm-hmm.
and it's not good for you. So
Mm.
just made me connect so much more and appreciate her so much more.
Mm,
Because she was educating not just me but even the audience about how we can love our bodies in a way that we haven't before.
right.
And that was so
Okay.
profound for me because I learned something. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so just once again, what's the name of the memoir that you wrote?
A girl's fate.
What was the response, or what has been the reaction? How, like, because so a lot of people when they write a book, they think, okay, I wrote the book, and I've had many authors, on the podcast, and then they're kind of shocked that once it gets published, it kind of it's in the spotlight for about a month or 2 months or whatever,
Mhm.
but then it's hard to give life, to maintain the momentum, right?
Sure.
So
It is hard.
yeah, so would you have some advice, or would you have some thoughts or words about that?
I haven't put a whole lot of energy in promoting it. So that's my bad because I've been
Hmm.
focusing on my counseling business. It
Hmm.
was doing really well up until, I don't know, a while back. And because also right now I want to do something with a girl's faith, which
Hmm.
I don't want to disclose yet. And therefore I'm okay with the fact that it's not doing the way I as well as I want it to do. But it
Right.
became Amazon's bestseller,
Okay.
whenever that was. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but I have a lot I want to do with it. So even though it hasn't been doing so well, like I think the last 6 to 8 months,
Hmm.
I'm pretty okay with it
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a pause for something else to happen with it.
Right. Now, somebody listening to this may take, so for example, how you refer to brown people, just like with a big broad brush, the people who are brown. Why don't you go into that to say, like, to sort of articulate, because somebody who is not from your experience
Uh-huh.
growing up in Hong Kong and everything, may kind of hear that and go, well, what the hell is she talking about? So like, what the hell are you talking about?
In terms of everything, or we covered
Yes,
a whole lot of
everything.
stuff.
No, well, just in terms of, so when you say that, you're trying to address, your ambitious goal is to change this huge way of people seeing it themselves and each other,
Hmm.
and the kind of the tag that's up there is brown people. So what does that mean?
It means exactly that, is that in order for us to have loving, healthy relationships with ourselves and others,
Hmm.
we need to be able to look within. And that's where I come in because for me, being brown, and I'm again going back to the fact that I want to cater to my people first. And it doesn't
Right.
mean I'm being racist or whatever have you, right? I just
Yeah.
want to give back. It's the fact that there are more and more people today who are in unhealthy relationships or are just purely unhappy.
Hmm.
And I know this that is true for my community,
Yeah.
right? So if we don't understand how to tap into what it is to be happy, to have healthy relationship with ourselves, then we're not going to move forward.
Hmm.
We're going to settle for marriages that we're not happy with or we don't want to be in, or we're going to, because that's another pressure that a lot of Indians face, which is
Yeah.
pressure of getting married because it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
And really just re-educating that, yes, marriage is important, but it needs to be out of love and not because it's a tick box. And
Sure.
so there's a whole lot of things that needs to change, and that's what I feel needs to happen. And that's where I come
Hmm.
in, is to bring in that education.
So would you like to put into the world a promotion for your counseling business?
Um,
In terms of how does your energy get accepted, or get, like, does it resonate within the market, or what are the, like, the population, or whatever you want to call it, like,
yeah,
within the world?
I know that the people I've worked with, they have said, they have felt that I truly care, because
Mm-hmm.
when they work with me, I'm not just someone who's with you for that hour and then I'll see you next week. I'll check in with you a lot to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that you're on task, but you're actually feeling okay. So
Yeah.
for me, it's not about the money as much as it is about you transforming your life, whether it's a
Sure.
trauma or a relationship or whatever have you. So for me, I'm really investing in you
Right.
because you matter. And when each individual matters, it's a community, right?
Hmm.
So that's the whole idea, is to allow them to see that so that they start caring more about themselves, and not in the superficial way, but in the depth of their presence. And
Right.
as they care more about themselves, they will care more about the relationships they have, and so
Yeah.
forth, right? So that's the kind of domino effect.
Karina.
Yay.
It's
What?
I have to wrap these up.
Okay.
Hopefully somebody who's listening to this will check out the notes, find your work, reach out, take action, be inspired. And here we are. And it's all, it's already been a really like altering conversation.
Thank you. I'm truly humbled. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I will absolutely sing your praises, and
Oh,
it's all about what does impossible look like and make it happen. You have to check out that movie, and
I will, for sure.
1,000% behind you. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.